Thank God you didn't save this video into the watch later. Many videos have been made on how to stop procrastinating, but you are probably procrastinating watching them, so I will watch them for you. The only way to stop procrastinating, MelRobbins.
You're not a procrastinator. You have a habit of procrastinating. Big difference. Because if it's a habit, I can teach you to use science to break it.
She moves on to explain that procrastination is not about the work itself, but rather a form of stress relief. He illustrates this by describing a scenario where personal stress such as relationship issues, health concerns, or financial worries create subconsciously a stress ball that we carry into our work environments. When faced with daunting tasks like making challenging phone calls, our stressed brain looks for escape, leading to procrastination, like watching cat videos instead of tackling the task. So, as a solution, she says this.
What you're going to do is you're going to go, oh, I must be stressed out about something. Acknowledge the stress. Then go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to count to yourself because I want you to interrupt the habit that's stored here, and I want you to awaken your prefrontal cortex. Then I want you to just work, just for 5 minutes. The reason why I want you to only work for 5 minutes is because your problem isn't working. It's the habit of avoiding. I just need you to start.
Now, rating the video. It was straight to the point, good advice, and a very good explanation. I will give it 4 stars. Now, next video. The procrastination cure you don't want to hear.
I think one of the most common problems that people have is not that they don't know what to do to dramatically move their life forward in a substantial way. Like, you know exactly what you need to do right now. There's probably something that you've been avoiding like the plague, but the problem is not that you don't know what that is. The problem is that you just can't bring yourself to do it.
He introduces a strategy that he claims that works every single time in trying to overcome his resistance. Boredom. According to him, boredom is both the problem and the solution. The distractions that prevent us from working seem more appealing because our brain craves entertainment over the dullness of the task at hand. He suggests that by removing all distractions except for the task that you need to do, you can force your brain to engage with the work, making it relatively more entertaining. To support his point, he references a study where participants prefer to electrocute themselves rather than to sit alone with their thoughts, showing how much humans detest boredom. So he concludes saying that if you need to do something, you should eliminate all potential distractions. This approach is not leading a less entertaining life. Instead, it is to make your life more fulfilling and empowering than you thought was possible. Now, rating the video. This was a really good one and a really good method. From personal experience, I can say that it was always easier to study from my university when I was at the library because I have nothing else to do there. Then that's a good advice. I'll give this video 4 stars as well. Leverage dopamine to overcome procrastination and optimize effort. Huberman Lab Podcast.
People are starting to appreciate that dopamine is also intimately involved with motivation, drive, and pursuit. Well, today you're going to learn that indeed dopamine is responsible for all of those things, but you are also going to learn that dopamine is critical for overcoming procrastination, for ensuring ongoing motivation, and indeed for ensuring confidence.
This video is actually a podcast in which Andrew Huberman presents us with another take on procrastination, which is to use the understanding of dopamine as the solution for it. He mentions that procrastination has everything to do with dopamine, and that if you're avoiding to do the things that you need to do because they don't provide you with the same levels of dopamine as other activities, such as anything else that is going to give you a high dopamine peak. The problem with that is that for many people, they put themselves into high peaks of dopamine, such as watching TikTok, which is constantly stimulating your brain with building the dopamine peak. So when you're trying to switch from watching TikTok to doing your homework assignment, your brain will perceive that as being very, very boring. So in short, your brain perceives their motivation to do something as a comparison to the thing that it was doing before. So your brain will find a lot of resistance when you're trying to do the thing that you need to be doing. Now, for the rating of the video, one of my favorite takes on the topic for sure, and I can assure you that it works in practice. I felt that when I was doing a dopamine detox, I tend to feel that my tasks becomes way easier to start. So for the value that this video provided me, I'll give this video a 5. How to beat procrastination like it owes you money.
Every problem of inaction is ultimately a problem of emotion. You procrastinate not because you don't know what to do, but because you don't feel like doing it. You eat garbage and stay up all night because you don't care in that moment that it's bad for you. The trick then is to master manipulating your own emotions. And it turns out it's actually not that hard to do this.
The video presents a strategy for overcoming emotional barriers that often prevent us from taking action toward our goal. So the 4 principles to follow are: tailor your environment. The guy emphasizes that the most crucial factor for behavior change is not our willpower or motivation, but the environment. By designing an environment that aligns with our goals, we can make the desired behavior almost inevitable. This might mean, for instance, removing unhealthy food from your house if your goal is to eat better, or set your alarm to ring in the other side of the room if you want to wake up early. Number 2 is create incentives. Incentives are the most powerful tool for behavior change. He says that by setting rewards for achieving milestones, our brain's gonna feel better, and you will be training your brain to perceive this as a good habit. Number 3 is leverage social pressure. The third step for taking action involves harnessing social pressure to our advantage. By sharing our goals with friends or social groups, we create an external force of accountability that can propel us forward to taking action. That social pressure is basically when you have a deadline to follow and you feel really like doing the thing after you know about the deadline. Number 4, recognize failure moves us forward. He says that recognizing failure is part of the journey to success because it changes our perspective, making us feel more resilient and willing to take risks. Then he concludes by saying that the first step is what is going to make all the other steps become way easier. So one step at a time and you will achieve your goal. For the rating of the video. This video was nice to watch and really well put together, but sometimes it felt kind of vague, not providing me a step-by-step to follow, and it was more focused on the concepts. I'll give this video 3 stars. How to beat procrastination.
The blank screen, the empty page, the unfilmed video. Whenever we sit down to start writing or creating anything, we're often paralyzed by a force stopping us from starting, stopping us from typing that first word, writing that first page, or filming that first video. Now, the most common question I get asked on the internet is, Ale, how are you so cool? But the second most common question is, Ale, how do you beat procrastination? And the answer is in this book, The War of Art by Steven Pressfield.
The key points are:
point number 1, know thy enemy. So the first question we need to address is, what is resistance?
This is the force that prevents us from engaging in any work that would level up our lives. Resistance is what holds us back from creative and entrepreneurial endeavors. In that sense, fear fuels resistance. But the presence of fear is a great indicator that that work is really important and should be done. The more resistant one feels, the more essential the work or project is to the individual.
Key point number 2 in this video, which is become a professional.
Pressfield contrasts professionals with amateurs, stating that professionals don't wait for inspiration, but make the work a priority regardless of mood or circumstance. They show up every day, work through adversity, and are open to criticism because they are committed to succeeding. Treating work professionally means that one understands that fear is a natural part of the process, and facing resistance is a daily battle.
Key point number 3 is we need to banish the ego.
Once we adopt a professional attitude, the next step is to recognize the ongoing battle between the self and the ego. The ego is concerned with how others will perceive us and external validations, while the self is our inner essence, including our dreams, intuition, and aspirations. By channeling the self, we can overcome resistance. So Ali prefers to set goals based on inputs that are within his control, as opposed to outcome goals, which are outside of his control and tend to increase resistance. Now, rating the video. I would say that I was expecting more about this one. Usually Ali gives really good advice and the step-by-step to take action. But this video was more focused on major aspect of procrastination, I should say, like starting a business or going after a dream, rather than the practical advice I was looking for, or like the difficult task that we face on the daily basis. Because of that, I'll give this video 2 stars. Inside the Mind of a Master Procrastinator, Huberman, TED. The guy began by illustrating his typical procrastination pattern during college, which involves delaying works on papers until the last possible moment, leading to stressful all-nighters. So planning to do everything like this, but ended up procrastinating and leaving everything to the last minute. like this. This pattern was exacerbated by his 90-page senior thesis, in which he was delayed 3 days before the deadline, resulting in a poor quality submission. Then he makes a funny analogy on how procrastinator brain works, featuring what he calls the instant gratification monkey alongside the rational decision maker. The monkey is driven by a desire for easy and fun tasks, causing procrastinators to avoid important tasks instead of spending time, which the Speakles calls the dark playground, where leisure activities take place when they shouldn't, leading to negative emotions like guilt or self-loathing. However, he explained that not always this monkey is in charge of this ship called your mind. The panic monster is introduced, and it is the force that activates when the deadline is imminent, causing the procrastinator to finally take action. The panic monster is the one that scares the monkey, making the rational decision maker to be in charge again. However, the guy points out a critical problem, which is that the panic monster only reacts to deadlines. The monkey's sneakiest trick is when the deadlines are not there. In areas of life where there are no deadlines, such as personal goals or relationships, the panic monster is absent, so the procrastination can cause long-term unhappiness and regrets. And since life is short, we cannot really allow that to happen. So it is important to be aware of that and really do the things that we need to do. Now, rating the video. This video was one of the best that I've seen today, so I really encourage you to watch it. It is very funny, and the analogies are really great. That's the reason it has 55 million views. However, it was more into the direction to explain how procrastination happens instead of how to solve it. So since we are looking for a solution rather than anything else, I'll give this video 3.5 stars. 2-minute rules to beat procrastination in 2 minutes.
After reading tons of productivity books, I came across so many rules, like the 2-year rule, the 5-minute rule, the 5-second rule.
No, not that 5-second rule. The problem is that these rules were meant for companies or entrepreneurs, but I was able to adapt them to my studies during med school and drastically cut down on my procrastination. So I'm going to share with you 2 different 2-minute rules for the next 2 minutes.
The first 2-minute rule comes from the book Getting Things Done by David Allen. This rule suggests that if the task takes less than 2 minutes to be completed, it should be done immediately. Example includes taking out the trash, clipping your nails, organizing your desk, and stuff like that. So by following this rule, you are biased to actually take the action and not leaving this task for the future. If you leave it for the future, you're gonna have to revisit this task later, which doesn't really make any sense because it's only gonna take you 2 minutes. The second 2-minute rule comes from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. When you're faced with a task that you're reluctant to start, try to simplify this task into a 2-minute version of it. So instead of aiming to complete the entire assignment, you could just read 1 paragraph. Or instead of memorizing the whole periodic table, you could only focus on 10 flashcards. The idea is to make the task so simple that it cannot be avoided. So the author suggests that when you try to build a new habit, it is better to do the simplified version, just so your brain interprets that as an habit. And later on, when you already have the consistency, the enough consistency for doing that every day, then you can expand it. For the review of this video, I'll give this video 5 stars. It is direct to the point, very good advice. Guys, I decided to go to the remaining videos a lot faster because I noticed that they're not really adding up much knowledge. Because whatever has to be said about procrastination was already said, so they're not really adding up that much value, so I'm gonna go through them faster. Advice for serious procrastinator, the 2-minute rule. He says that micro habits lead to macro actions. The idea is presented that, contrary to think that we have the fixed amount of energy, the more we use energy productively, the more we have. Similar to working out at the gym, for example. So he says that if you force yourself to do the things, you're gonna have more energy to do other things. Then he introduces the 2-minute rule, which we heard before. But here he says something interesting. He says that it is important to set some boundaries for the 2-minute rule. Like for example, if you're already focused, studying, or doing something that is important, don't go water your plants just because you thought about it and it takes less than 2 minutes. Just keep doing the thing. He also says that it is important to start your day with the hardest task that you need to do just to get it over with. Now for the rating of this video. This video was nice to expand the perspective that we had about the 2-minute rule, but it didn't add that much knowledge. So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. How to stop procrastinating. The presenter starts the video saying that 20% of the population consider themselves chronic procrastinators. Then they mention that it can be solved in 3 methods. The first step is called Eat the Elephant. This step encourages you to break down a large, overwhelming task into small, manageable segments. The second advice is that before killing the dragon, you can start with small tasks just to get you going before you do the hardest one. Number 3, the presenter says that it is important to disconnect yourself from the distractions and really try to focus on the thing you need to do the most. Now for the rating of the video. This video was well made, but I think that most of the concepts is kind of common sense, you know? So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. 7 things that quickly cured my procrastination. So I decided to watch one more video of this guy because he promises that in this one he's gonna break procrastination in 7 principles. The number 1 is eating the frog, so start with the hardest task that you need to do that day. Then it comes the 3 to 1 rule, which is a simple method that you count down from 3 to 1 before starting a task. Then it comes the do something principle, which is just start doing the thing that you need to do and motivation will follow. Number 4 is purge your physical surroundings. If you organize your desk, you're gonna feel more motivated to start doing the thing. Number 5, he says that it is important to put your phone on quiet mode. In the number 6, he says that you can start something for 60 seconds and arguably that's gonna make you more focused, I guess. The number 7, I think is the good point on this list. He says that you can set a timer just for you to go over your distractions. If while you were working, you're thinking about your Facebook feed, just set a timer and say that I'm gonna spend 15 minutes into this Facebook feed and after that I'm gonna do my work. For the rating of this video, I think it was nice, but I'm not sure if those rules are gonna work for every person, but you know, it would be nice to try it out. So I'll give this video a 3.5. World's leading expert on how to solve procrastination, Dr. Chin Cycle. This video was a podcast in which Ali interviews this guy who's an expert on procrastination, but this video is more of them reflecting on procrastination itself rather than giving tips, so in which they conclude that procrastination is just an avoidance for taking the first step. So if you force yourself to do that, the other steps are gonna feel way easier. So I'll give this video 3 stars. How to finally overcome procrastination. This video was more about sharing the personal journey of this guy instead of giving tips or teaching us how to stop procrastinating. So 80% of the video is just him showing how procrastination affects his life. So I'll give this video 1 star. How to kill procrastination for good. So this video says the same thing as all the other ones, which is it is harder to start doing things, so force yourself to do the first thing and then you're gonna feel motivated to do the rest. That's all. So I'll give this video 2 stars. Watch this if you always procrastinate. This video was really weird because the girl says that if you're procrastinating, it has a chance that you have ADHD. So she makes the rest of the video just saying how you stop procrastinating if you have ADHD. But anyway, I'm gonna give it 1 star. Jordan Peterson, how to stop procrastinating. This video was nice because Jordan takes a different approach. He says that if you have a goal that is really connected to your being, you're gonna feel more propelled to actually do it. So you have to steer the ship into the right direction and you're not gonna procrastinate that much. So like if you have goals that really motivate you, that's the best way to start. I kinda liked the video, but it's not really procrastination on a day-to-day basis, but you know, it was still good. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Self-worth theory, the key to understanding and overcoming procrastination. Nick Foch, TEDx Princeton University. So I decided to watch another TED Talk, but it didn't really add a bunch of things. It really basically just covered all the things that we already seen about goals, about taking the first step, about breaking tasks into manageable steps, and stuff like that. You know, that's good if you're into procrastination for the first time, but yes, we already know most of that. So I'll give this video 2 stars. How to stop procrastination, Buddhism in English. Now deciding to take a new perspective, let's go to Buddhism. They end up saying the same thing. The key points are be mindful and aware, take action, set achievable goals, seek accountability, and change your mindset. So basically like the same thing. I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. How I beat procrastination, Robin Sharma. This video he says that you should do a dream collage, which you grab a bunch of photos just to motivate yourself of the things that you wanted to achieve. He says that working out is important. He says that you need to go to a distraction-free environment and you should recognize when you're afraid of failing. Basically all of the same thing, 2 stars. How to stop procrastinating, 1 easy trick. I decided to watch another MarkManson video because it was only 2 minutes long. In this video, he explains his do something principle, which is like if you're not feeling motivated, just go do something and you'll find the motivation to do it. The video is actually nice, so like short and straight to the point, the way I like it. So this video is actually 5 stars. So I really need to thank you if you watch until here. I'm just starting this channel, so all the support that you can give to this video is much appreciated. As a conclusion, we can say that procrastination is kind of easy, so like there's just a few things to learn, and like if you continue to watch videos about it, they're just gonna talk about the same thing. The most important takeaways that I consider are these 2-minute rules, like just force yourself to do something for 2 minutes, and if it takes 2 minutes, you can like just do it right away. It's the best way to go. And also Andrew Huberman talked about this, how if you do the dopamine detox, you're gonna feel more compelled to actually go after the thing that you need to do, because it's gonna feel way more interesting. And that's it. That's all we have for today. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, and yes, thank you.